Okay.
Let's continue. So once you find that comfortable seated position, make sure you have a block for your practice, and you might want some cushioning for your knees, a blanket or a cushion or your knee pad for your knees, since the ground here is concrete. So get all those props that you might need, and then meet me in your comfortable seated position. And then begin to ground through the sit bones, finding some length and extension in the spine. Belly button pulled in and up. Maybe you want your palms down, feel more grounded. Having the palms facing towards the sky, feel more energy. Crown pulling towards the sky. Maybe you might want to close your eyes. If that is not comfortable for you with your eyes closed, find a soft gaze, that yoga drishti gaze. Bring your attention into the space. Just noticing the sounds around you. You can hear the traffic in the distance. You can hear the birds singing in the trees behind us. You feel the breeze on your skin, the movement of your material, of your clothes, when the breeze comes through the space. Maybe we can bring our awareness a little more internally now. Noticing our way our body feels today as it sits on our mat. Take a mental scan of the body, starting from the crown of the head, moving down and just noticing where in the body you might feel any tension, any discomfort. Certainly notice if there's any pain in your body. We always want to be moving away from that in our practice. Continue scanning the body, just noticing those areas. Not judging them, not doing anything with that information, but just noticing and being aware. Now begin to notice your breath. That breath you brought into class today. Notice how it feels in your body, whether it's short and choppy. Not trying to change it yet, just focusing in and bringing awareness to the breath. Grow that breath, making the inhales a little deeper. The exhales just as long as the inhales, a little more fluid. Maybe initiating an Ayuji breath, be breathing through the nose, constrict the back of the throat, making that ocean sound, and exhale through the nose. Knowing that if that Ayuji breath isn't working for you, just breathe in deeply and exhale smoothly and completely. Finding a breath that works better for your body. Letting the breath be your guide as we move through practice, and knowing that if we're in a posture and you start to lose that big, full breath, to do less, back away, until you can rebuild that big breath. Come out of the posture altogether. Every posture is not for every person on every day. respect your body tries to tell you. Continue to build that breath as we move through practice today. We want to be striving for progress, but never for perfection. Just fall in love with the process and be patient with yourself. Perfection is never the goal. Feel that breath moving in, and as your chest rises and falls. We can flutter our eyes open now. Still maintaining that extension in the spine, grounding through the sit bones. Let's inhale the arms up overhead. Stretching up out of the side body, pulling the fingertips toward the sky. Maybe opening the fingers and spreading the fingers nice and wide as we stretch the hands. Belly button to spine. Finding length in the side bodies. Let's reverse the palms and slowly exhale. Allowing the exhale to follow us all the way down. Complete the exhale as your fingertips touch the mat. Let's do that again. We're going to inhale the arms up. Belly button to spine. Exhale, reverse, and allow the exhale to follow you all the way to the mat. Do that 2 more times. Stretch in the last one. Exhale fully. Let's go ahead and turn around and come on to our hands and our knees. And if you have padding for your knees, this is a good place to bring it into your practice. Keeping your block nearby so that we can use it in the various poses today. We'll find our way to our tabletop with our knees lined up underneath our hips and our elbows and wrists lined up underneath our shoulders. Go ahead and lift the fingers, spread them wide, and set them back down. And now engage all 4 corners of the hands so that your arches of your hands, your palms of your hands slightly lift. So you can pretend that there's a ladybug underneath your palm, and you're going to try to not squash that little ladybug. So we're engaging those bandhas in the hands to protect the wrists. Our belly button's pulled to spine, and we're finding some extension in the vertebrae of the spine now. As you begin to pull the crown of the head and the tailbone away from each other. Finding length. And then just begin to find some organic movements in the body. Maybe swaying the hips from side to side. Just loosening up those hips and try to connect the breath to the movements. Taking your gaze over your shoulder one at a time. That feels good. Maybe even circles with the hips. Just whatever comes organically feels good in your body. And when you're ready, let's find some stillness in our tabletop. Inhale, exhale. Let's press our hips back towards our heels, reaching our arms forward and finding our child's pose. Bringing our head in the direction of the mat. Maybe our forehead rests on a mat. Maybe it rests on our blocks. Bending at the elbows to open up the upper back and the neck, and allowing that to release in our child's pose. You might want to rock the forehead from side to side. Knowing that if your hips don't reach your heels, that's perfectly fine. That just might mean that this is a really good pose for you. This pose could be exactly the pose that your body needs. Stay here for a couple breaths. Filling up the body on the inhale. And allow the body to sink a little more on the exhales. When you're ready, go ahead and walk. If you've got your block on your forehead, set it to the side. Staying in our child's pose, let's go ahead and walk our hands all the way over to the right. Stretching the left side of the body and making sure the left hip is sinking towards your heel. Just finding that first place of resistance and then a tiny little nudge. Not moving past our edge here. Just finding that place of growth. And knowing that if you feel like you need a little more stretch, you can take the left hand and place it on top of the right. And then we'll find a little more opening into the left side of the body. When you're ready, let's walk our hands back to the center. Inhaling and then exhaling, walking them over to the left side, sinking the right hip. Finding our place in the posture on this side. Maybe resting, taking the right hand on top of the left. If you feel like you need a little bit more. You ready? Let's walk the hands back to center. Stretching through the shoulders. And then take an inhale. Exhale. Let's walk our hands very carefully back towards our torso. And come up to our tabletop position. Finding our tabletop. Realign the knees under the hips. Elbows under the shoulders. And engage those bandhas. Remember that little ladybug here. Belly button to spine, finding that length as we inhale, find extension. Exhale, let's tuck our chin around the upper back, coming into cat stretch. Really opening up the upper back here, finding opening between the shoulder blades. Inhale, let's bring our heart and our chin forward, lifting our hips, finding cow. Exhale, go back to cat. Really opening up and rounding that upper back, tucking the chin. Inhale, cow. Heart and chin forward. Just follow your breath for a few more rounds between cat and cow. Just allowing your breath to lead you. Let's meet back in that neutral spine. Let's take the left hand and turn it in 1/4 of a turn, so like 3 o'clock towards the center of your mat. It just allows us a little more opening here. We're going to inhale the right arm up towards the sky, follow it with our gaze. Exhale, we're going to thread the arm underneath the shoulder, bringing the head and shoulder either to rest on the mat, or if it doesn't easily reach the mat, you can rest on your block here. Connect to the breath and maybe stay here or explore taking the right arm up towards the front of your mat. Finding the stretch there, just noticing how that feels in your body. Sometimes it's nice to close the eyes so you can connect to the breath. Really notice the sensations in your body. When you're you're ready, take your left hand and place it underneath your shoulder, pressing into the mat. Let's lift the right arm back up to the sky. Let's counter stretch. And exhale, come back to our tabletop. Let's press back just for a quick child's pose before we go to the other side. Sinking our hips and head. And inhale, let's connect to that tabletop. Right hand moves in 1/4 of a turn. Pressing through the right hand. Engage the core. Inhale the left arm up to the sky. And exhale, it's threaded underneath, bringing our head and shoulders to a block or a mat, or the mat. Pausing here. And then if you feel like you'd like to, you can take your right arm up towards the front of the mat here. Tuning into the sensations in the body and maybe noticing how this side feels compared to how it felt on the other side. It can change from practice to practice, day to day, from side to side of the body. When you're ready, let's bring the right hand underneath the shoulders. They're pressing into the earth, lifting the left arm back up to the sky. And exhale, setting the left hand back down to our tabletop position here. Go ahead and tuck those toes. And I'm going to grab my block here, place my block in front of me. And I'm going to put my hands on my block and I'm going to get tall in my spine and the belly button in. Exhale, press hips towards the heels, opening up the back of the feet here. This is a nice toe stretch, opening up the feet. This maybe can be pretty intense, so if this has bothered your feet, remember you can always lift the hips back up to relieve some of the pressure here, some of that sensation. And slowly lower the hips when you're ready to whatever level is working for you. In this position and you're feeling like you're this is working for you, maybe we can press the block a little forward as we press the hips back. When you're ready, lifting the hips to relieve the sensation here. Maybe untucking those toes. Let's get into the wrists here. You can, if you're liking the sensation in your feet, you can keep those toes tucked if you like. We can do it from this position. But if that's become a little bit much, you can just release those. Actually, and if you have, just paddle those feet there a little bit. There you go. So let's inhale. We're going to do the wrists now. We're going to inhale the right hand out as if you're saying stop to someone. And again, you can come off of your knees here or beyond your knees. Inhale, the right hand is stop. Take the left hand behind the fingers. On the exhale, just gently allowing the fingers to move back a little closer to your forearm here. Just finding that stretch in the forearm there, in the wrists and forearm. Being gentle with yourself. Release that, shake that hand out. Let's go to the other side. Stop with the left hand. The right hand comes around up to the fingers. And then on the exhale, we slowly begin to move the fingers into the direction of the forearm. Doing a nice gentle stretch. Not pushing too hard here. Release that and shake out those hands. Yeah, there you go. Shake them out. Remember to move my block off to the side. Come up to my tabletop position. And I'm going to press my hips up and back, finding my down dog here. You go ahead and pedal out the feet if that feels good to you. Pushing the mat away with your hands, fingers nice and wide. your heels. If you see your heels, move them so that they are behind your ankles there. Your heels are, all 10 toes are facing forward. Connecting to that breath. When you're ready, maybe bending those knees and releasing and coming back to down dog. Let's do that dynamic movement a few times. Exhale, become a down dog. Inhale, we drop our knees. Just hovering over the mat. We're not actually touching the mat with our knees. And back to down dog. Look up towards your hands and step or hop up to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold, bringing your chest to your thighs, hands to the mat or behind your calves. Inhale, root down through their feet and rise all the way up. Exhale, hands through heart center and through our Tadasana. We'll go through a couple rounds of sun salutation A here to warm up the body, get nice and warm. Find your Tadasana. Nice and tall in the spine, belly button pulled in, ground lifting to the sky. Let's inhale the arms up. Exhale, bending in the torso, finding our forward fold, chest and thigh. And straighten the legs a little. Exhale, fold. Inhale and half back. Exhale, bend the hands, and step or float back to plank. Chaturanga, our option, drop your knees. Chest and chin. Cobra. Step the toes. Down dog. Step up to the front of the mat. Find our fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lower the arms. Do that again. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Plant the hands. Step back to plank. Float. Chaturanga. Or knees, chin, chest. Coming up to cobra. Exhale, down dog. Looking up towards the front of the mat, step or float our way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root down to rise all the way up. Exhale, finding our Tadasana. Great job, everybody. So now we're going to find our warrior two. We're going to step our back foot back, 45-degree angle, front foot, knees stacked over our ankle here. Inhale, windmill the arms open, finding warrior two. What about a 4.5 feet stance here? You can have a wider stance with your legs if that feels better on your pelvis. Adds a little more room. Gaze over the front finger. Be nice and strong in our warrior, sinking our hips. Inhale, let's flip the palm and drop the back hand, finding our reverse warrior gaze to the sky here. Really feeling the opening in the right side of the body. Option to drop that back hand down a little more, get a little bit more back bend going here. Inhale, bring the right arm to the right forearm to the right thigh. Bringing the left arm up and around the front of the ear, pinky finger down, finding our extended side angle here. Make sure that your knee is stacked over your ankle. You can bring your gaze up to your elbows, that feels good on your neck. Rolling the chest open. And pressing through the back foot, finding that line of energy all the way from the back foot through that pinky finger. As if you can feel the energy shooting out of the fingers. Pinky fingers down, but the fingers are together. Breathe into the pose here. Exhale, let's bring the right, grab hold of your block, bring your block to the outside of your right foot. Bring the left arm up towards the sky, stacking the shoulder, and then straighten the front leg, finding triangle here. Really pressing through that back hip. Maybe take the gaze up to the sky. When you're ready, hold it onto that block. Bending the front knee, stepping the back foot in just a touch. We're going to launch into half moon. So take the block in front of you, lift the back leg. Oops, the camera here. Lift the back leg, finding half moon. Whoops, it's okay if you wobble like I just did. Stacking the shoulders, pressing through the back heel. Belly button to spine. Now you can stay here, or if you're feeling pretty stable, you're in your half moon, you can bend the top leg and reach back and grab the foot, pressing the foot into the hand and hand into the foot, finding Chapasana here. You're in Chapasana, just re-straighten the back leg, lifting the arm, coming back to half moon. Exhale, let's drop the back leg, lifting the arms forward, resetting the pelvis forward into neutral, finding warrior one here. Pressing through the back heel, stacking the knee over the ankle. Elbows by ears. Right hips nudging back, left hips nudging forward. Inhale, reach and exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back, finding our down dog. Maybe lifting the right leg up, pressing through the heel to three-legged dog. Maybe bending the knee and opening up that hip as we press through the left foot down towards the mat. Release the leg. Inhale, take the left leg up, finding three-legged dog. Exhale, we open the hip. Pressing the right heel towards the mat. Shoulders facing forward. When you're ready, let's drop that leg back to our downward facing dog. Look up towards the front of our mat and step or hop our way up. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we root down to rise all the way up. Exhale, back to our Tadasana. Let's go to the other side with that sequence here. Let's find our stance for our warrior two, 4.5 feet wide. Left foot front, knee stack, back foot 45-degree angle. Inhale, let's windmill the arms open. I'm going to turn this way so you can see me. Finding our warrior two. Well, make sure the knee is tracking over the middle or the pinky toe even, so that it doesn't collapse in here. Finding our gaze over our front fingers. Belly button to spine. Getting strong in our warrior two. Inhale, let's flip the palm, reverse our warrior. Really opening up on the left side of the body now. Your gaze can be up, and if that bothers your neck, you can take your gaze down. Maybe you can play with that. Look at the position of the neck up. And then see what it feels like to have the gaze down. When you're ready, bringing the left arm, forearm to the left thigh. Inhale the right arm up and swing it around in front. Fingers together, pinky finger down. Pressing through that back heel, finding that line of energy all the way from the back heel through, shooting out of the fingertips. Opening the right shoulder, and maybe your gaze comes up. Release and bringing that arm out. Make sure you grab our block here. Should have had you bring it with you, sorry. Grab your block here, put your right hand on the block on the outside of the left foot, left hand to the block, excuse me. Right arm comes straight in the front leg, and let's find triangle here. Stacking the shoulders, pressing the hips back, not locking out the kneecaps though here. A little bit of a micro bend in that front knee. Pressing equally for the front and the back foot. When you're ready, let's bend that front knee a little bit. Step the back foot in just a little. Grabbing hold of that block, sitting in front of you and launching into half moon here. Stacking the shoulders, pressing the right foot back. Flexing the foot. Option to stay here in half moon, or reach back in the top leg and grab hold of that foot and find Shavasana. You're in Shavasana. Release the leg, bring the arm back up to half moon, and slowly let the back leg down, resetting the pelvis forward. Arms up, finding warrior one. Knees stacked over ankle, pressing through the back heel. Left hip nudging back, right hip nudges forward. Keep breathing. A few more breaths here. In our warrior one. Exhale, let's release the hands down and step back to down dog. When you're ready, let's drop the knees, finding our tabletop position. We'll turn around here. Finding your tabletop position here. And press stack for child's pose. Inhale, come back to our tabletop. Finding our down dog, pressing those hips up and back, sinking our heels. You have the option to stay here and work on your breath in down dog, or you can take an optional vinyasa here. I'm going to take the vinyasa and find our plank, chaturanga, or knees, chest, and chin. Inhale to cobra, and exhale. Let's meet through everybody else back in down dog. Belly button in. Allowing the eyes of your elbows to rotate forward. Opening up to the upper back. Stay here for a couple breaths. Really breathing, stretching the body. Kind of maybe reconnecting to that Ayuji breath that we built up at the beginning of class. Let's drop the knees, untuck the toes, drop the right hip to the mat, their knees bent, and swing our legs out in front of us, finding our Dandasana here. Legs extended long. Maybe reach around and grab the flesh of your bottom to just root through those sit bones. Find the belly to the spine, and find that extension in the spine as we flex the feet back into the direction of our shins here. Keeping a softness in the knees. Crown pulling up towards the sky, toes pulling back towards our shins. Inhale the arms up, pulling the belly button to spine, and then just leaning the torso forward. Finding a straight line from the tailbone all the way up to the fingertips. Our gaze is slightly down. This is not a really big movement here. We're not trying to round the back. We're not trying to get our chest to our thighs. We're just a small movement, finding extension in the back of the body, all the way from the heels to the calves and the hamstrings, and the low back and the spine, extension in the shoulders here. Ready, pull the belly button in tight. Inhale, bring the torso all the way back up, and then exhale, let's release the arms. Great job, everybody. So now we're going to bend the knees, Bring the soles of our feet to the mat. Put our hands behind our thighs here. Press into our feet, engage our core. And slowly lower one vertebrae at a time all the way to your back. Make sure you can reach your block. Bring your block where you can reach it. And set your block on the left side of your mat next to your left foot here. Let's sink our shoulders and our back and allow the upper back to completely relax. When you're ready, let's lift the left foot towards the sky, pressing through the heel. Exhale, let's bend the knee, cross the left ankle over the right thigh, finding our figure four. Flexing the toes to protect this kneecap here. So notice what that feels like. Then this is where you can take your block. Actually, we'll set it underneath your right foot. And that little bit of a lift may be just enough. Now, if you feel like that's too intense, then remove the block. Notice what you feel here first. And then if you feel like your body still needs a little bit more, then you can lift the right foot off of the block, bringing the hands behind, interlacing behind the right thigh, and gently pulling that right thigh towards the direction of the right armpit here. Yeah, maybe feeling that stretch in the outside of that left hip. Making sure you're still flexing the top toes to protect the kneecap here. Inhale the arms out to a T, palms up. Exhale, let's drop the right foot. Keep the legs in the figure four position, but drop the right foot to the right. Drop the left foot to the right. The sole of the foot comes to the mat. Your gaze can come out over your left extended arm. A nice twist here. I'm going to come up and stay in your twist. Feeling the opening and the stretch in the body. Twists are really good for our digestion, for adding some movement and mobility in the spine, opening through the shoulders, the hips. Really a nice pose. And sometimes it feels really yummy for people. It feels really good. You might close your eyes and just tune into that sensation. Of course, knowing at any time if you're losing your breath or it's too intense to back away and pull the legs back up. Stay here for just a few more breaths. Make them count, make them big. Ready? Let's go ahead and lift those legs back up to center. Inhale the left leg up, back up to the sky, stretching through the heel. And exhale, placing that left foot back on the mat. So with both knees bent here, maybe take your block onto the opposite side of your mat so it's handy. Let's inhale the right leg up to the sky this time. Exhale, we bend the knee and cross the right ankle over the left thigh. Flexing the foot here. And pausing here with our shoulders relaxed away from our ears. Upper body completely passive here. Just noticing what we're feeling. If you think your body's telling you could use a little more, then take that block and place it under the left foot. Knowing that one side may feel different than the other. Both of us have one hip that's a little tighter than the other. So kind of tune into that. Really try to be aware of where you're feeling the sensation and maybe take your breath to where you feel that sensation and breathe into that. And if you feel like your body still is asking for a little more, then you can reach your hands and interlace them around your left thigh and gently pull left thigh in the direction of your left armpit. Taking your time and moving slowly and stopping when your body tells you to stop. If you listen, it will tell you where it needs to go and where it does not need to go. Maybe close your eyes if that feels good to you and connect to the breath and the sensations. Couple more breaths here. And when you're ready, let's inhale the arms back out to a T. Exhale, bringing the right foot to the left, bringing it down towards the mat. It may not reach the mat. Take your gaze over your extended right arm if that feels good. Finding the twist on this side. Remembering to be in love with the process. Being patient, not looking for perfection in these poses. It's okay if you look completely different in this pose than someone else. Just keep your focus on your mat. That's where we're going to grow. That's where the progress is in your practice, in your body. Ready, let's inhale the legs back up, taking the top leg off, extending through the inhale, pressing the heel up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, bending the knee, coming back to both soles of the feet are on the mat. Grab hold of your block here. Let's walk the heels in closer to our bottom, and then reach our fingertips and just see if we can graze the back of our heels here. And then allow your hands to sit beside you. Side your body, palms down. Engage you through all four corners of the feet. Grab the block with your right or left hand, depending on which side of your mat it's on. Inhale, exhale, pressing through the heels, lifting the hips up off the mat. Set the block. There's 3 different levels, low, medium, and high, but set it right on that sacrum area, right in that flat area. Sometimes you have little dimples there. Set it right there so we can do the supported bridge. Your arms are beside you, palms down. Your chin slightly tucked. And pressing into all four corners of those feet. Knees pulling towards the midline here. Feeling nice and supported in your bridge. Now tune in here, check in. Maybe you need the block to be a little lower. Or maybe you have a little more room in your spine and you need the block to be a little higher. Just check, and if you've moved it up and then like, no, that's not it, then adjust it back down. Just find your place in the posture. And supported bridge. Breathe in. Out. When you're ready, pressing into the feet and the hands, lift the hips up a little bit and remove the block carefully. Setting it off to the side here. And then press through the feet, lifting the hip maybe a ½ inch higher, just another smidge higher. Staying here or lifting the right foot up to the sky, pressing through the right heel. Maybe press the hips up just a little more. Exhale, we drop the right foot. Inhale the left foot up to the sky. Then lifting those hips, pressing through that heel. Maybe lift a little bit more, and exhale, drop the foot back down. And release the back to the mat, one vertebrae at a time, moving very slowly. So your hips are the last to touch the mat. And when we bend the knees into the chest, maybe we can give ourselves a little hug. Maybe even bringing our forehead up towards our knees, making a little tight ball, pulling the elbows in. Make it a really tight ball. Exhale, releasing the shoulders and back. Let's take one hand behind each knee and pulling the knees in towards the armpits here. Right knee towards right armpit, left knee towards left armpit. Maybe extending the right leg out, pressing through the heel. Right leg to the right. And pull that leg back in and press the left heel out. Straighten it through the left leg here. And let's release that leg back in. Tuck your chin slightly. Let's press the soles of the feet up to the ceiling here, finding our happy baby. We're still pulling those knees in towards the armpits. You can stay here, or you can reach up and grab the inside soles, arches of your feet, pulling those knees down towards the armpits, finding happy baby. An option to rock the baby, to massage that low back. Finding some movement. Giving that low back a little love and attention here. Maybe slowing if you find any points of stickiness, and giving that spot a little more attention, a little more time. And when you're ready, stopping the movement, releasing the hands and bringing the legs back to the mat. Maybe taking whatever pose your body may be asking for here, if it needs something else before we move into Shavasana. Whatever your body might be asking for. And then when you're ready, extending the legs long. Maybe the heels are pointing in, the toes are pointing out to kind of relax those psoas muscles. Your arms can be out to your side with the palms up or down, or maybe on your belly, one on your heart or your belly, whatever position that you prefer for Shavasana. And if this bothers your low back, being flat on your back, and you can bend your knees, maybe bring in your knees, let your knees fall in together and your feet as wide as your mat in constructive rest pose. Whatever last adjustments you need to make as we find our Shavasana, the most important posture in yoga. It's where we allow all the work we just did to really assimilate on a cellular level and allow our body to gear down into that parasympathetic nervous system. We're just being, we're not doing anymore. No longer controlling the breath. Give yourself permission to relax and settle in. start to deepen your breath, bringing back a little more of that energetic breathing. You inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling fluid, long exhales. Allowing the breath to begin to reawaken and energize the body. Maybe beginning to make very small movements in the body. Introduce one movement at a time. Maybe just wiggling the toes on your right foot. And then pausing after each movement that you introduced. Just notice how it feels to bring movement back to the body. Moving to the left foot, wiggling those toes. Maybe wiggling the fingers on your right hand now. And then pausing and seeing how that feels. Before going to the left hand and wiggling the fingers there. Maybe a gentle rock of the head from side to side. You're ready, maybe inhaling the arms overhead, giving the body a nice awakening, gentle stretch. Before we exhale, draw the knees in towards our chest and giving ourselves a little hug here. Hug of gratitude for showing up on your practice. Or making our way over to one side or the other, with our knees still bent, maybe your eyes still closed. Resting our head in the crook of our arm. In this fetal position. Thanking yourself for showing up on your mat. Being patient with yourself and not striving for perfection. Remember, you are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. You are perfect just the way you are. When you're ready, using your hands to gently assist you to press yourself back up to a comfortable seated position. Taking your time, moving slowly. Once you arrive in your seated position, maybe beginning to make that seat a little more energetic as we find a length and extension again in the spine. Your belly button pulled in and up. You ground through the sit bones and inhale the arms up to this beautiful sky. Maybe take your gaze up and look at the beautiful lights. And exhale, bring our palms together and rub them until we get nice warmth in the palms. Lower the palms to the heart, to the eyes, excuse me. Taking the warm palms over the eyes and just noticing how that feels. Have that warmth around your eyes. Energy from your hands. Let's bring the palms back together and lower our hands through our heart center, allowing our thumbs to rest on our sternum. Taking a moment here. Thank you for sharing your practice with me. Thank you for showing up on your mat, and being present, and patient. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you to everyone who's showed up, or in this case, since it's a tape, watches this tape later. Please always check in with me if there's any questions or comments that you have. I'm happy to help anytime before or after class, or reach out to me on my page with questions, and I'll be happy to get back to you. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Namaste.